Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sophie. So I just finished off a vlog, just a weekly vlog. It's the last vlog that went live before this one, and I like when my videos are kind of like a continuation of each other, just documenting my life, obviously excluding my try-ons and my hauls and whatnot. But in that video I talked a little bit about how the weather was really impacting my mental health. I definitely struggle with seasonal affective disorder. A lot of people do. I have seen a doctor and I do kind of refuse to go on medication for it just because I know what the root issue is. As unhealthy as it might sound, I use my positive dissatisfaction to help motivate me and drive me towards my goals that I'm actively working on and working towards. Again, maybe that sounds crazy. I'm not anti-medication by any means, but specifically with this struggle that I have in my life, I just know that medication isn't the right solution for me. It's not going to solve the problem. It's just going to put a band-aid on it, and I would rather, you know, actually solve the issue. And I guess to some degree, my struggle with my environment externally is just part of my story, and it's what's going to get me from where I am right now to where I want to be. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's there and the only way out is through, and that's just the approach that I'm taking personally. And at the end of the day, everyone has what works for them, and for me, that's just what I chose I would do to deal with this situation. So I wanted to sit down and film a video talking with you guys about how I manage my seasonal affective disorder and just little things I do to feel better and stay on track. Some people are hardly affected by this, others are. Everyone has their own coping mechanism. For me, having my goals and working towards my goals and the goal of moving is what I know is going to help me. And a lot of people don't take it seriously, think I'm unrealistic, but like at the end of the day, you know yourself best. I have traveled enough to know that living elsewhere is going to make me happier. I do believe that sometimes the grass is greener, and I've discussed this before in my videos, but I feel so bored of where I live and understimulated. And you know, I've lived in a city with a population of 1 million people and zero influencer industry, and it's not serving me. I grew up here. I know everything about the city, every nook and cranny, and I'm just ready to move on. And I'll have to say, having very strong goals is so important. It helps you feel a sense of purpose, it helps challenge you, and it gives you more control over your future. When I imagine what my future could look like if I stayed in my hometown for the rest of my life versus if I move, those are two completely different futures. You know, there's just something about living where you grew up and seeing people you know everywhere you go, and in a sense too, a lot of the people that know you for who you used to be don't respect you the same way as people who you meet as you're leveling up in life. And not to say I feel like a big fish in a small pond, but I just feel like I've outgrown a lot of things where I live, and I'm ready for the next chapter. You've probably heard of SMART goals before. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound goals. And I personally don't use a vision board when it comes to, you know, attracting what I want and working towards an exciting future. I use a kind of like a timeline slash a roadmap that's so specific. I break down every step I need to take. I take my ultimate goal and I break it down into micro goals and milestones, and those all get broken down to my daily tasks on my to-do list. And so my to-do list every single day can feel very repetitive because a lot of it is just consistency and just doing the same thing and adjusting my strategy along the way. But for the most part, that's just my daily life. And so doing that in an environment that's not inspiring, exciting, you know, is really difficult. But having that timeline slash roadmap really allows me to know exactly how I'm going to get from where I am right now to where I want to be. And then with that is actually taking action and applying what you need to do to get where you want to be. I think for a lot of people, the hardest part is getting started. It's showing up for yourself and taking that first step. For me personally, I think the hardest part is in this gap between where I am right now and where I want to be, finding enjoyment and being happy and making the best of it is the hardest part. That's personally something that I really struggle with. I have for a very long time and I still struggle with, and I'm working on it. And truly, it's all the little things really that add up and make you feel the way you do. It's how you start your morning, who you're spending time with, and who has access to you, what you're reading, what you're consuming. And so I really make an effort to reflect on my wellness constantly and seek out ways to improve, and always prioritize balance in my life, because balance is not something that you find, it's something you create. You have to actively work on it. It's not something that's passive in your life. Like, you have to really put in the work, and it's a lot of work, but I feel like once you have a good habit of checking with yourself and reflecting on your wellness, it's a lot easier than if you're ignoring it. I'm not gonna lie, I overanalyze every aspect of my life. I'm also an overthinker, but by being this way, I'm really able to pinpoint areas of my life and take action and try to work on it and become the best version of myself. I just took a little break. I curled my hair and decided to listen to a podcast at the same time. I am by no means a big influencer, but I still have a very public life, yet there's so many moments that I do not film, like my morning routine, my skincare routine, my relationship, cooking, a lot of my outings. I have really been trying to be more mindful in the moment, and it's moments like those that I realize no one else will appreciate more than I will, and so that's something I've been really trying to do. Also, even having a routine is a huge part of feeling better. It allows you to structure your day and feel like you have a lot more control over your day. I also try to just feel my best externally as well. A lot of you guys know this year I got both a septorhinoplasty as well as a breast augmentation, and no surgery is going to make you a better person. It's not going to solve your problems. I consider all these things that I do an accessory. I work really hard internally, and I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to look at yourself in the mirror and feel your absolute best. I work really hard to optimize myself internally. Why wouldn't I do the same externally? It's really a matter of personal preference. I got a lot of backlash over my surgeries, but at the end of the day, it's just something that I felt like doing. And when I look at myself in the mirror, I love the way I look. I love who I am as a person, and it's just a really good feeling. I recently got this green color correcting cream from Hero Cosmetics. I got it from Amazon, and I'm using it over my acne scarring. I'm going to try a couple of different things like chemical peels, microneedling, to try to manage it. But I don't have the downtime right now because I'm traveling in a week or so, and it just doesn't really fit in with my schedule right now. My look tends to come across as very basic, and especially because I've had surgeries and cosmetic procedures done, people will assume that I'm shallow, that I'm insecure, but at the end of the day, I know myself best, and this is just the look that I like for myself right now. And for others, self-expression can be in the form of coloring their hair, tattoos, and piercings, and this is just my personal preference. And another thing that really helps me feel better is exercise and movement. And since I had a rhinoplasty, the recovery followed by a trip to New York City, then I got COVID, then I got a breast augmentation. I'm still in recovery. I have been out of routine, and that has definitely been very difficult, but I'm so eager to get back into routine, and I'm really making sure I take this recovery seriously. So I'm still a few weeks out, but I'm so excited to get back to regular exercise. Nutrition is also so important. Fueling your body properly and understanding the basics of nutrition. There is so much value in spending the time and or the money to learn the basics of nutrition. I personally invested about $1,000 into a course that outlined everything from start to finish that I needed to know. And although I haven't directly applied this certification to my career, I do have that knowledge. I'm also able to apply it to things like ebooks that I love to create for my audience. Another thing is hobbies. I have a couple different hobbies that tend to directly tie into my career because I struggle with feeling unproductive. So these include reading, listening to podcasts, exercise, as well as writing. I love to write and create digital products as well. For example, my small business, which is a journal that I brought to life into a physical form, but I think that writing is a creative outlet for me and it really helps me, and it also helps you guys out. I have so many free ebooks on my website, sophieaniston.com, and I never write ebooks telling people what they need to do. I only offer suggestions. I see so many influencers create restrictive guides, which can be really harmful. I like to think of my digital products as guides to help guide you on your journey. Ultimately, the work is up to you. And now, a reason why I love podcasts so much is because I really struggle with finding new friendships in the city where I live. There isn't a huge influencer economy here. There aren't that many entrepreneurs as well. Most of the workforce works for the city or the government of Canada, and I honestly just can't relate to people who work in that career, and that's just me personally. I am all about becoming the best version of yourself and just feeding off the energy of others and helping them become the best version of themselves as well. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm finding it really difficult to find meaningful friendships with people who actually try. So when it comes to podcasts, this allows me to gain inspiration from people I actually look up to who have more business and life experience than me. There are a couple of main podcasts that I listen to that I've been listening to for years, and otherwise when it comes to consuming content as a creator, I really don't consume much at all. Hence, you may have noticed I don't follow anybody on social media. I think it's overwhelming, and I also use social media as a business tool. Networking is so important. It's something that my career is lacking, but following someone on Instagram and them following you back does not equal a friendship or relationship. Also, having my social media notifications off has really helped me. I have had my notifications off on my phone for the past 5 years, and words cannot express how much that's truly helped me. Again, especially since I'm trying to be more mindful and in the moment, and when I'm working on something, I want to be putting 100% into whatever it is that I'm working on. I cannot have distractions like that interrupting me. And those are the main things that I would say I do every single day that really help me stay on track. I know this is mostly career focused, but a huge focus of my life is my career, especially since I work for myself and I refuse to ever work for someone else again. That's just how it is for me. There are a couple of other things that I have in my environment that help me. I do use a light therapy lamp. Let me go grab it for you guys and show you what that looks like. It looks just like this. I got it from Amazon. You plug it in, you turn it on, and it emits a really strong light, and I'll put it somewhere in my peripheral. I personally don't really think it works, but especially because it gets dark so early in the day, as soon as the sun starts setting, I will turn it on so I'm not falling asleep, because that really impacts my quality of work. I also take so many breaks during the day to take time for myself and practice self-care, which can take so many different forms, but self-care is really just about doing what feels right for you, and also having a very strong support system in your life. I personally don't hold space for one-sided friendships and drama. I am not into it whatsoever. Something I am really good at is cutting people out of my life and not feeling bad about it, because it's just so important to honestly put yourself first, because you can't help others if you can't help yourself. And those are just my little tips personally. Now, I realize this video is probably not as specific as others that talk about seasonal affective disorder, but there isn't one simple solution when it comes to seasonal affective disorder. For me, it's really just becoming the best version of myself through so many little actions and habits and choices. And although this is honestly kind of a brutal approach, it takes a lot of self-awareness and a lot of work. I am choosing to work towards a future that serves the best version of myself and not a temporary solution. I don't need to lie to myself and tell myself that just because this is my hometown or where I grew up or whatever, that this is where I have to stay forever. So that's just my take personally. As always, thank you so much for watching, for listening to me and supporting my channel. I am truly so excited to take you guys along and share my future with you guys. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.